Welcome to our video explanation of our most recent press release on the soil results at the Hawkins Project here in North Central Ontario. So in the center of the Hawkins Project is the McKinnon Zone. You can see that here, surface trace 3.5 kilometers in red. That is an inferred mineral resource, and it sits right at the contact between the tonalite here to the south and the amphibolite. And on this regional geologic map, you can see that the contact continues on beyond the McKinnon Zone to the east, and then to the west, and wraps around down here to the south of the property. So when you're thinking about how to build on this resource, there's really two paths forward on that. You can either build it out at depth, expand the depth of it, or you can build it out along strike and try and extend it east or west and build that footprint along strike. So in our last drill program, we demonstrated that mineralization continues down to this red dash line and is in fact open below that red dash line, but this red dash line represents a depth of 2 to 3 times the depth of the current resource. So that's one potential path forward to building this resource. But then, of course, you can also try and build it out east or west of the McKinnon Zone. And you can see in magnetics, this magnetic anomaly that's associated with the McKinnon Zone continues for 13 kilometers. So to start developing the along strike potential of the resource, we did some IP and soil work in this grid 3 area here, just to the west of the McKinnon Zone. And that's what we're talking about here today. So these are the results of that soil sampling program in grid 3. The different colored dots here are varying levels of gold grade in the soils. And then our next step was to interpret trends amongst these gold grades in the dots there. And we were able to identify several very strong gold anomalies and trends within this soil, within the soils here. And you can see that in the white dash line in this grid 3 box. Now, what we're also seeing in the grid 3 box are results of the IP survey, and that's in the black lines. The black lines represent chargeability anomalies. And just for location reference, you can see the McKinnon Zone surface trace here to the east. So we're going to zoom in on this grid 3 box to explain the targets that we thought were the most important for drilling. And we picked out 4 different sets. So the first set is this set here. You can see the chargeability in black actually carries on over up into the McKinnon Zone, which the edge of the McKinnon Zone is in yellow here. And then you can see the soil. It's also coincident with soil anomalies, strong gold soil anomalies here. So this trend represents geologic continuity for 4 kilometers beyond the McKinnon Zone. And so now we need to go in and see if there's gold grade continuity, and that's what we do with drilling. The other, another set that we thought was very interesting and should be drill tested is this set that is to the south of that McKinnon Zone trend. And so this is a new target for us. It's actually hosted in the granodiorite. It's a separate target than the McKinnon Zone. It had the strongest association with pathfinder elements, and that's why we think it's an important trend to drill test. Then the other 2 final trends we thought were important to drill test are these 2 to the north that are both associated with magnetic highs in pink. So you can see these soils in whites, the chargeabilities in blacks, and they line up with the high magnetic anomalies. Those 2 anomalies outcrop to the west on the northern one, peridotite or an ultramafic, and on the southern one, iron formation. So these are gold targets, but they're also base metal targets. And so we think those need to be drill tested as well. Now we want to drill later in 2023 on these targets. Before we do that, we're going to do select stripping and channel sampling over the anomalies, as well as basal till and top of bedrock sampling to further identify which anomalies are associated with mineralization. And so that's really the plan for grid 3 for 2023.